So hey guys, welcome back. With this time on my hands, like everybody else has got all this time on their hands, and there's not much going on, you can't go anywhere, can't do anything. So what I have decided to do, one of the things I've decided to do, is upgrade my room with lighting. I have been wanting to do this for quite some time, and the reason I've wanted to do it is because all these light up, but in order for me to light them up, I got to kind of reach behind and hit the switch, reach behind and hit a switch, reach behind and hit all three switches. So I wanted to have something where I could just plug everything in, hit one little switch and everything comes on. And that's what I've been installing all morning. I've got this bank done, I've got this bank done, and now I'm working on the Star Wars shelf right now. I'm going to show you what I use, and then I'll show you what it looks like after it's all done. So this is just to make it easier for me to turn my lights on at nighttime. So that's what I'm doing here. That's why Red is kind of in the middle of the room, my favorite gal. She's in the middle of the room because I'm working on the Star Wars side, so I can light up my Star Wars cabinet, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So those of you who know this room know this is where Red Sonja sits. She sits right here. There's my oil heater. I need that for the winter. So I've got a bit of a mess here, and I've got that one cord right there, and that's what turns the light on to, hold on a second here, it turns the light on to, let me see if I can get this where I need it to be. It turns the light on to this cabinet here. So I've got to kind of reach behind Doom there. It always looks like I'm trying to fiddle with his butt or something. And I'm always worried I'm going to knock something over. So what we're going to try to do today, even though it's only one switch I need, I am going to put a light bar in here because I also have my phone hookup because I work out of here. And then I have the other connection for my marquee light. That marquee light I built right there, and I'll show you that in a minute. So I'm going to hook all of that up and make it a little bit easier, and then put Red back in, and that should be that. So let's get to it. Okay, so what am I using on this project? Of course, like anything else, I'm using one of these light bars. This is a 6-outlet plug light bar. I'll be using that, and you're going to have that. Now this is what I'm using for my remote turn-ons. This is made by a company called Westech. It is a remote receiver with a fob, and there it is. It's actually for outside, but it doesn't really matter. It works just fine inside, and here's the fob that goes with it. And it plugs in, and this really works well. You can turn this on from like 40 feet away. I can actually be outside my yard and turn all my lights on in here. So this is what I'm using. $4 at the dollar store. Can't beat that. I'm cheap as cheap can be, so that's good. And then I grabbed a couple of these AC to USB, and of course they plug in, and then you put the USB in, because a lot of my strip lights have to have a USB end on it, and they hook in here. So just going to move forward, put in that light bar, and get Red Sonja back in her spot, and then we'll do some hookups, and then I'll show you the lights as I've got them done. So let's go do it. So there it is. You can kind of see the black piece that's hooked into there, hooked into the light bar, and then hooked to my light here. So in order for this to work, you'll see that little black box will go green. It turns my light on, turns my light off. So let's have a look at that button. On she goes, off she goes. So much nicer. Now I don't have to reach around, and this really works well, these fobs. And what's nice about these fobs is they're all coated different. So if you do have two or three of these in the room, and you hit one, not all of them come on. And some people may say, well, that's a bit of a bummer, but I like it. So at least I know which one I'm looking at, and I have them in the spots where they need to be. So I like that. Looks good. So now we got to put Red back in and try and hide all of this, which is getting harder to do because some of this stuff is getting bigger. So try and get that back in, and we'll see what it looks like after. So everybody, it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I've darkened it in here as best I can. I want to show you the upgrades that I've done. Now most of you know down here and over to my right I have motion sensor lights and one in the toy room. When I come in, those automatically come on. They're not very bright, but they're bright enough so I can see where I'm going and I don't kill myself. So in the interim, I decided I would put these in. I'll try and turn them on here. Give me a second. There we go. So I put that strip light up along the back, and I can come in and I can turn that on. I've kind of got it behind the Hulk here, so the receiver is a little blocked, so I got to kind of move around. But I can turn that on like that, and it gives me a nice, just a nice enough light that I can see what I'm doing. It highlights the graded books in the back, highlights the comics or the statues in the front. I only have the one strip light along the back. I didn't put any on this, and I didn't put any on this one. I just kind of liked that look. I think it looks good. and I can shut it off remotely as well if I can get in the right spot. There we go. Off it goes. So now, if you looked to your right, I just hit a button there, that all comes on. And then if you look to your left, I hit a button there, and all that comes on. So that looks really nice, and then I can run that strip light as well if I choose to. So everything is at the touch of a button now, which is so much nicer. I don't have to crawl around, I don't have to dig around, and that's what I really wanted to achieve by this. So we'll look at the other side, but what has this cost me so far? The strip light in the back was $4. The USB to power was $2, so that's $6. I bought 3 of those remote starters, or remote turn-on switches. They were $4 a piece, so that's 12. So I think we're at about 18. And 2 light bars. So this is under $30. I did all of this, and I'm able to really use my stuff a whole lot more. And then when I want to shut it off, just shut them off like so. And it's really nice to have that. So we'll look at the other side, the Star Wars cabinet and my 2 other marquee lights, and show you what that looks like. So now the Star Wars light comes on like that, which is really nice. And then I can turn my marquee light on. I don't know if you can see that. Let's look up. My marquee light kind of goes on and off there. And then I have a second one over here as well. So this light, the light on this cabinet is right here. Very easy to get to. So it goes on like that. I don't have to monkey with that one. So I didn't put it on a remote switch. But it's the only thing that's not a remote switch. And this is kind of where I wanted to go with this, just to make it look a little nicer and a little easier. And I can just turn that marquee off, and I can just turn that marquee off, and I can just turn that off as well. So, and then I can just reach over and turn that one off. So, easy upgrade. Took a little bit because I had to move stuff around, as you always do. There's my comic wall. I'll just give you a quick 360. I might be a little close here. And yeah, there we go. So let's just pull back here. So we're done that project. Nice little project. I don't know, it took about 4 or 5 hours, and while I was doing it, and the reason I say 4 or 5 hours, because I had to pull all this stuff out. I had to move the statues, I had to pull all the statues down from there, hook up the electricity, blah blah blah, make all those changes. What did this cost me? So this cost me, I bought 3 of those remotes at $4, those remote switches that I showed you, that come with a fob. Great deal for $4. I bought 2 light bars, $4 each. I bought 1 light strip, right there, that's $4. Actually, I bought 3 of them, but I'm only using 1. And I bought 3 of those USB to electric plugs so I can plug in my lights. All told, without tax, $43. I think with tax, about $46. So kind of a nice little project to do. Gives me a nice look. And I don't know about you guys, but in my statue room, when I am watching a movie or playing video games or anything like that, I'm not a big fan of those light bars on every single one and the lights just buzzing down like you can see the light from Mars or something. I'm not like that. I like a very soft, cool light, and I also have lights that go around the floor as well. So I don't like my room completely lit up where it's almost like I'm in an interrogation room. I don't like that. I like soft, quiet light. I use these of course are IKEA Detolfs, and I use the IKEA LED Berg lights, the LED Berg lights. 1 puck light in each one, that's all I need. You can see it, it filters the light down. I mean, it's not showing my collection like, oh my god, but you can see what's in there. It looks nice, and it looks even nicer at nighttime. It's a very cool, soft light, and the whole idea of the glass cabinets is for that light to filter down, and I like the look of that. I also like the availability that now all I have to do is hit 1 button, and off we go. And I also like the fact that I did it before, but I put the motion sensor lights in. So much nicer. I get 30 seconds to move around in here before they come back on again. They all come on at the same time, so I have 2 on this side, 1 on that side, so I do get some light. So a nice little project, and while I was doing it, the reason it took me longer is because I cleaned everything. I dusted everything. Everything I moved, I cleaned and dusted everything. So I am working on my room, just like everybody else. I'm working on the toy side. So I just wanted to show you what this little project was, something for me doing. Just wanted to show it to you. So yeah, I hope everybody is staying safe. I hope everybody is following the guidelines. We're all in this together. I think that's the hashtag that we're using now. If you're like me, I don't go stir crazy. I go out in the yard and stuff like that. But I'm getting to the projects that I have been putting off for a long time, and I'm really glad I got to this one because this is so much nicer just to come in and hit 2 buttons and have all my lights on. I really enjoy that. And it was done very cheaply. I didn't buy the expensive stuff from Home Depot where you're paying $85 for the switch and $45 for one light strip. I go as cheap as I can because that's just me. Hashtag I am cheap. Area 51 is cheap. So thank you. Babbling on your Area 51 home of the superheroes and some lighting fun. We'll catch you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye.